In this video, we are taking a look at another multi-card for the Game Boy Advance from Easy Flash. This is Steve from Restalgia, and let's get started. Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for clicking on the video. Consider going down below, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the thumbs up button, as it really does help out the channel quite a bit. Now, as I mentioned, we are looking at another flash cart. This one was sent to me by Easy Flash. This one is specifically the Easy Flash Omega Definitive Edition. If you guys have seen my channel in the past, you guys know that I've covered some of their other products like their baseline Easy Flash Omega, and then I've also covered the Easy Flash Junior, which is the Game Boy Color flash cart. To be honest, I'm really happy with these products. They work really well. They're about half the price of some of their leading competitors, and I haven't had any issues with save files going missing or damaged or getting corrupt or anything like that. Everything's always worked exactly how it's supposed to. So in general, I like these products and I like this company. Now, before we go ahead and talk about obviously the changes between this definitive edition and their baseline Easy Flash Omega, we're gonna get this thing out of the box. And that's pretty much it. I will say that Easy Flash, they do very light on the packing, no instructions. It's just a plastic insert with the game cartridge and then an empty box. Now, in terms of the actual device itself, you can go ahead and take a look at this in comparison to the old version. And you'll notice right out of the gate that the color is obviously different. This is going to be in almost like a clear plastic. This one's kind of like a smoky gray plastic, but right out of the gate, you can actually feel a substantial difference in the quality. And you can see that just in the plastic here, kind of feels a little bit spongy, and it's really easy to flex, whereas this one is built really strong. And if you squeeze it, I mean, you do get a little bit of a flex, but it is substantially more rigid, and it just feels like a nice, better quality plastic, similar to what you would see from an original Nintendo game. Just like with the original, you're going to have access to your SD card, which is going to be helpful for loading up the firmware and putting on whatever games you've got. Other than that, it's pretty well the same in terms of form factor. Little bit of physical differences just with kind of the way that they've designed it. Overall, it's more or less the same. Now, some other major differences between this product, the Definitive Edition, and their baseline is that they've actually upgraded the saving process. So previously on the older chip, it was actually saved to SRAM. Now they are saving it to FRAM. And essentially, if you're not really technical, it's not really that big of a deal, but you do get more secure saves, and they are more reliable and they are more consistent. So you're going to get a slightly better or more improved saving situation happening on this chipset. Another new feature is that they have DS to Game Boy Advance transfer support. So if that's something that you want to do and transfer your files from Game Boy Advance to Nintendo DS, you can absolutely do it with this cart. And then the next two features that I'm going to talk about in terms of what has changed on this cart are going to be the two big ones that I think are probably the most important to most people. The first one is a rumble support. So this kind of sounds weird, but they actually put in like a little rumble motor in here, and it's supposed to kind of give you an effect like your controller is actually rumbling. And I'm going to show you guys that in a minute. They've done a really good job with it on the games that it works. And full disclosure, there's only a couple of games that it actually works with, and they have to be patched. And it's kind of a process, so it's not an ideal situation, but it does work really well when it works. From my understanding is they are working on more patches to be released for multiple different types of games. So in the future, hopefully we get a lot of support, but right now there's very few, and I mean like less than 5 games that are currently supported for that rumble feature. And there are a couple other miscellaneous features that really the average user is not going to care about. But the big one I think here that I actually really like is that they've really improved the efficiency of the cart. Not to say that this wasn't an efficient cart, because it was okay. It didn't really drain your battery that much quicker, but they've gone ahead and they've refined it, and they've actually improved the efficiency, so much so that you actually get a substantial amount of extended gameplay while you're using this. It draws less current, about 20-25% less current, which means that your batteries are going to last longer, which means more playtime, which is always good. Now, jumping into actually looking at the menu, and from here I'm actually going to show you guys that rumble feature as well. But you go ahead and pop the card in when it's preloaded up. To get it all set up is nice and easy. All you've got to do is go onto the Easy Flash website. They've got a download link. You download the firmware, drag and drop it on an SD card, and then stick the SD card into the multi-cards. Now, this cart can support Game Boy games, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, but it can also do Nintendo games through its own built-in emulator, which is kind of cool. Now let's go ahead and check out that rumble feature. I've got Drill Dozer here. This game actually has been patched. It does have the rumble feature supported, so we're going to jump into this game and I'm going to show you guys exactly what that looks like. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to show you guys that rumble feature. I'm going to try to put the mic right up nice and close so you guys can actually hear it. Okay, so I've got the mic right up to the Game Boy Advance. I'm going to put the volume down all the way just so you guys can actually hear the motor rumble, and I'm going to hit the drill button here. So you guys can hear that. It's not something that I think everyone is going to love, but it does do a really good job in terms of making it feel like the device itself is what's rumbling and not the cartridge. You can feel it in the buttons. You can kind of feel it all the way around the device. Everywhere that your hands are touching, it's rumbling, and it's not a faint rumble. It's pretty pronounced. So it feels good. They did a good job with it. Maybe rumble's not something that you actually care about, and you're probably going to turn it off, which you can do right within the settings. Now, when you're in a Game Boy Advance game, the only way to get out, as far as I can find out, or as far as I've seen, is to actually just do a straight up power cycle. As soon as you do that, it'll load up the splash screens again, and then you'll jump right into the main menu. All right, so here we are. In terms of the main menu, you've obviously got your main directory, which is going to be right over here. As you can see, I've got a bunch of folders there: Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Nintendo. All of those are going to be my ROM files. Everything I've transferred on here is going to be within its own associated folder. And then when you click on whatever folder, it'll open up the game files and you can check it out that way. One thing that is supported under Game Boy Advance titles is they do have thumbnail support. You actually can grab the thumbnails right from the website from Easy Flash. You dump it on the SD card and it automatically associates the game with the correct artwork, which is nice and handy. That being said, it doesn't support Game Boy games. It doesn't support Game Boy Color. It does not support Nintendo. So you're only going to get thumbnails for the Game Boy Advance games. Next, you do have things like cheat support. So if you've got Game Shark or whatever cheat codes you want to put on there, you can absolutely do that as well. And all that stuff can be found on their website just the same. Now, in terms of the navigation, so you've got your L and R buttons. Those are going to help you navigate through all the different tabs that you can see kind of in the top corner. If you go to the right, this is going to be another section where you could upload different types of media files. Next, you've got your main settings. So this is going to be how to change time and date. They've got an add-on section. This is where if you want to set cheats or save states or any of those sort of things, you can do it right from in here. You've got your language settings. You've got a fast patch for your engine if you want to improve speed on some of the games. You've also got a whole bunch of hotkeys that are going to be there as well. Your next setting is going to give you autosave, your mode B. So this is going to be for your rumble mode or for linking this device if you want to set it up so that way you can have a dedicated game boot right in upon launch. So when you turn it on, instead of going to the menu, it can just skip that and go right into the game itself. The last feature here that I'm going to talk about is the LED. So right now you can see there is an LED right over here, and it does kind of pulsate. So it just kind of gets brighter and then it fades away and then it gets brighter again. And that's just a cool little feature if you care about those sort of things. If you don't like the LED, you can always turn it off again right from this menu. And then the last section kind of gives you information about how to delete files, how to do a multi-boot, or how to toggle your thumbnails if you're within your Game Boy Advance folder, which is just your select button. That's pretty much it for the navigation. Now the games do play really well. Game Boy Advance games, they play flawlessly. You would never know that you were running them on a flash card. It feels like you've just got a Game Boy Advance cartridge popped in there and you're running it, which is the whole point of these flash cards. The idea is that if you want to play these games on original hardware and you kind of want an all-in-one solution, you're not going to get a better solution than something like this. In terms of the Nintendo emulator on there, so far it's been pretty good. Keep in mind, you're not obviously running this on any sort of stock hardware. This is 100% emulation when you're getting into Nintendo games. The Nintendo games run, I haven't run into any problems. The color palette's really good. They display really nicely on the screen. The games load up really nice and quick. There's really not any issues whatsoever with anything that I've experienced. That being said, playing Nintendo in this form factor maybe isn't the greatest experience. You may prefer to play it on a monitor, but if you're okay with playing games like this on a little handheld device, this is a really good way to actually get in some of those old school Nintendo games. And when I turn the audio up, you can hear that it actually sounds pretty good. There isn't any issues with the audio emulated through the built-in emulator. So generally speaking, you get a good experience. Obviously, if you're buying a flash cart for Game Boy Advance, it's probably to play Game Boy Advance games. But that's kind of pretty much all I'm going to do about talking about this device. It is a great little upgrade that they've done with the Definitive Edition. If you are interested in grabbing one or even just reading a little bit more, I'll leave some links in the description down below, as I always do, for you guys to go ahead and check it out. If you want one, grab that link and go ahead and throw it in your cart and make a purchase. Should you buy this if you already have the Easy Flash Omega? That's a maybe. If you really care about the new features, like if you really want to try out that rumble support, even though only a couple of games work with it, then absolutely you're going to want to grab this to try that out. If you want a multi-cart that is more energy efficient, that will actually give you better battery life, again, that's another good reason to upgrade. But if you think that you're going to get any sort of better performance, you're absolutely not. Gameplay for Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Nintendo, they're all identical between the Easy Flash Omega and the Easy Flash Omega Definitive Edition. So just keep that in mind when you are deciding whether or not this is right for you. But that is actually pretty much all I've got for you guys in this video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of these devices. Have you ever bought an Easy Flash product? What did you think of it? Did it work for you? Did you ever have any issues? Or was it exactly what you were hoping it would be? Let me know down below. But again, that's pretty much all I've got for you guys in this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys again real soon.